Did the old prophets actually meet angels on top of mountains? Or were they highly intelligent beings from a galaxy far, far away? Today, we're taking a look at 3 well-known sightings of UFOs. Because let's face it, we're not alone, and the evidence is everywhere.
In this video, we'll be exploring the secrets of the Moai, a series of massive statues found on Easter Island in Polynesia. Since their discovery in the 1800s, there has been much debate about their origins. Some even claim they were built by aliens. If you're interested to find out more, let's dive right into the video. First up, what exactly are the Moai? Statues, yes, but what sort of statues? The Moai are huge human heads made of stone. There are nearly 900 of these figures on Easter Island. They're scattered on the flanks of the island's extinct volcanoes. The figures average 13 feet in height and weigh 14 tons. Here's a curious fact about the Moai. Quite a lot of people think they're just stone heads, but that's not true. Most Moai have whole bodies hidden beneath the ground. Another interesting fact about Easter Island is that it's in the middle of nowhere. The nearest country, Chile, is 3,500 kilometers away. How did the inhabitants build and transport so many of these massive statues with limited technology? We'll touch on that in a bit. Speaking of transportation, the people of Easter Island were either incredibly strong or incredibly intelligent. You can't lift a 14-ton stone block on your own, especially with pre-modern technology. In 2012, the archaeologist Carl Lipo proposed a theory. Together with 18 other volunteers, he demonstrated a system of ropes tied around the top of a Moai statue. This allowed the workers to rock it back and forth across the island, kind of like making the statue walk. Of course, this still takes a lot of effort for one statue, and there are over 900 of them. Maybe the settlers didn't do it all by themselves. Some people also believe these statues were built elsewhere. They would then be transported to the island via advanced alien technology. The construction of the massive pyramids in Egypt raises similar questions. You can check out our previous video on that topic. We'll drop the link at the end of this one. It isn't just the geographical origin of the Moai that's mysterious. Many experts are still stumped by their purpose. A common theory is that the Moai were sculpted for religious or ritual reasons. Researchers believe that each statue represents a deceased head of a family or clan. The inhabitants of Easter Island once numbered in the thousands after all. Conspiracy theorists believe these Moai are statues built to honor alien visitors. As mentioned, Easter Island is pretty remote. Surviving out there isn't easy. The settlers may have received help from more advanced beings. In return, they built the Moai as a tribute to their saviors. Or maybe the aliens built the Moai as a reminder of assistance rendered. The statues appear to be inhuman, with some having very large eyes. Was that what the aliens looked like? Nobody knows for sure. Another point of debate is about the Moai stoneworking techniques. Many of them appear to be wearing large stone blocks that function as hats. These may appear to be ordinary blocks at first glance, but further inspection reveals something interesting. On the hats are carved, strange petroglyphs. What do they mean? Scholars are still unsure, but it's an eerie coincidence that some symbols resemble flying craft. It's also fascinating how the Moai are sunk so deep in the ground. Even setting aside the transportation that we discussed earlier, digging such massive pits is no mean feat for Stone Age civilizations. Nearby, there's also another strange stone construct that may point to the work of aliens. It's called the Vinipu platform, seemingly used for rituals. The platform towers over humans and is constructed from perfectly interlocking blocks. It's interesting to note that a similar construction method was employed in ancient Peruvian fortresses. Conspiracy theorists believe that aliens have assisted various cultures around the world. This fact seems to back their theory up. As for the settlers, the fate of the island natives remains a mystery to this day. The island was definitely inhabited at one point. It wasn't a temporary building site or stopover. Evidence for this can be found in the remains of pottery and utensils left behind. But the inhabitants themselves seem to have disappeared altogether at one point. Were they uplifted by their alien overlords? Some speculate they may have all died out due to infighting. The presence of weapons scattered about haphazardly seems to indicate this. But what caused such severe conflict to destroy this island civilization? Author Jared Diamond believes that this infighting was caused by the natives themselves. He claims they ruined their environment via overexploitation. In their need for farmland, firewood, and devices to move the Moai statues, they stripped the forest bare. Once the forest disappeared, so did the wood for boats, along with most edible birds. The fish died, the soil eroded, and crops wasted away. Faced with the lack of resources, this society fell to infighting. To quote Diamond, it was the clearest example of a society that destroyed itself, overexploiting its resources. On the other hand, some researchers believe that rats were to blame. They say the original settlers had rats aboard their ships. These Polynesian rats reproduced easily with no natural predators on the island. Excavations show the inhabitants made rats a steady part of their diet, and yet, it wasn't enough to stem the tide. In time, the rats overran and destroyed the environment. Or perhaps the alien overlords grew bored of their project and decided to pull out. Regardless of the cause, life seems to have become intolerable for the surviving settlers. With greatly reduced numbers, continuing life there was impossible. Whoever was left likely departed, never to return. Perhaps they found new lands or were taken up by the aliens to spare their lives. Did aliens build the Moai statues? Were they responsible for the disappearance of the islanders? The truth is still out there waiting to be discovered. For now, archaeological research continues on the secrets of Easter Island. Make sure to comment below on what your thoughts are, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to tune in next week.